Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifestor, and I'm sure you are too, because you are consuming content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing. What I'm discussing today is ingratitude. And the reason why I think that's so important is because when I talk to people, I have conversations when someone's very unsatisfied with their lives, when they're very unsatisfied with their outcomes, when they're very unsatisfied with the people and places and things that they're around. Generally, it's stemming from a large amount of ingratitude. And I know somebody's like, okay, duh, that makes perfect sense or whatever. But when I say ingratitude, I want to just make sure it's clear that I'm not just saying being grateful for things that you don't like in your life currently. What I mean is looking around at those things that are actually working in your life and finding gratitude in those things. The more we focus on, and I know we hear this a lot, the things that we can find gratitude in, the more we get more of those things we find gratitude in. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper with this. I feel like, and this may be a little bit rough for some, that the Creator has a big problem with people who practice ingratitude on a daily basis. I feel like the idea of practicing not being grateful on a regular basis causes blessings not to show up for you, causes things that you want to experience not to be available to you, causes opportunities to go the other way when it sees you coming, because I feel like that is a different frequency that you're on when there's a level of you that refuses to see the beauty you have in your life. One of the biggest things that I do know, and I'm not minimizing these experiences in any kind of way because I've experienced them all, when it comes to like depression and it comes to like anxiety and stuff like that, one of the biggest things that I notice is in those moments, we are not focused on anything but ourselves and what we particularly think we're not getting out of this life. And one of the biggest fixes that I have for lacking gratitude is taking the focus off yourself and putting it on other people, right? There was someone I was talking to recently and they just had nothing but, I'm feeling so sad about this, that, and everything. And I always say, well, leave room for that. That's perfectly okay. But when it's a continuous thing, you have to think to yourself, there's a large part of me that's not accepting life as is. And if I accept life as is, then I can be grateful for the things that are currently present in my space. And if spending too much time focusing on myself is giving me grief, then maybe I should put that attention elsewhere on other people. And I'm not saying out there trying to people please and trying to get a certain reaction out of other people. What I mean is putting that attention on how can I show up for others in small, simple ways that will get the attention off myself. Something that I would do all the time, especially when I experience heavy anxiety, was make sure that I paid attention to people's birthdays and sent them like $50 on their birthdays all the time. And it's like no matter what I had, how much money I had or whatever like that, it was something that was important to me. And just doing those simple things really took the attention and focus off myself, and I got a break from the anxiety. I got a break from feeling any type of negative feelings or depression for a while, right? Something that's been huge in that area too is focusing on things that my children need. Sometimes people allow their family and children to be a part of their depressions and a part of their anxieties, when really, if you operated with the right mindset, they can almost be a cure sometimes. And I'm not saying lean on it as far as like a crutch. Lean on it in a way of like, man, I get to do this thing for my family. I get to show up for my children this way. I get to experience healthy whole children in this way. And a lot of people are not experiencing this. You start to look at it in a very different way. You start to look at your life as almost a gift in many areas, to where you've kind of said, this is not enough, that's not enough, that's not enough. Think about it. If you're running around with the not enough mentality, with the not enough mindset, how can the enough show up for you? How can the enough be in your, just show up in your life? If you believe in, let me see, because the sun's I don't mind the sun, but I just don't like it halfway on my face and halfway in and halfway out. If you don't mind, I'm sorry, I was just thinking about minding the sun. If you're showing up for yourself in a way that you're not seeing all the beauty that's in your life and all the positive things that you actually do have access to, Why would anybody want to hang around that? Why would anybody want to be a part of that? People are going to talk to you for a little while, and then they're going to kind of dismiss you and try to get out of your space and be like, oh, I hope it all works out. I'm going to pray for you, blah, blah, blah. But you're going to constantly run people off who may be able to make your life better. And many times it's simply just putting too much focus on your own life, your own troubles, and what you don't have and what's not working out for you. When a lot of time can be spent on how can I brighten somebody else's day today? How can I show up for other people today? I know a person who's always steeped in feeling depressed and feeling not good about themselves and feeling sad. But I can honestly tell you, they don't really show up for their kids and like show up and do things in a special way and like make being a parent a magical thing that it can be in any kind of way. I'm like, if you're feeling, get a card for one of your kids and send it in the mail and tell them just thinking about you. Or, send a text message with a cute little picture and say, I saw this and thought about you. Like, they have no idea how to come out of the rut of themselves because they're too caught up in who they are and who they've been for so long. And once we have a record on repeat of who we've been and how we've been operating as that person, and we're living in ingratitude on a regular basis, it's really hard for us to get outside of that zone. I think one of the biggest things that hold us up in life in any area of our lives is not understanding how we can create just a gratuitous feeling, just living in gratitude on a regular basis, feeling gratitude on a regular basis. And somebody else was asking me about this, why I say this statement, but it's because it's always true. I'm like, there are no prayers that we should be having that's not thank you. If you think about it, that's absolutely true. It's not being overly pious. It's not being like overly generous in those kind of ways, like trying to act like we're so holier than thou. It's not even about that. It's really about what prayer can we have to the Creator that's not a thank you already. Thank you for my amazing health. Thank you for the healing that you brought into my life. Thank you for all of the love and appreciation I experience on a regular basis. I wake up with these thoughts and I wake up, with this mindset. Not every single day, but most days that is the mindset, right? Thank you for the abundance that I get to experience in my life. Thank you for my healthy and whole children that I get to experience on a regular basis. Thank you for the beautiful sun that's shining in my face right now that's trying to blind me, but I'm not going to let it, right? Thank you for this equipment that I can use in order to spread this word and share this information with other people. Thank you for the access that I have to so many activities and so many events and so many environments that I wouldn't have access to if I lived in different places, right? Thank you for the place that I was born. Thank you for the people that I was born to. Thank you for the environment that I was born into. Even if it wasn't a perfect environment all the time, it made me exactly who I am today. And even if it's things in the future, thank you for the financial abundance that I get to experience on a regular basis. There's no reason to have a prayer that's like, oh God, please, please help me pay these bills this weekend. Help me get this money together that's going to pay this mortgage. Help me get this money together that's going to pay this car note, or whatever it is. No, you have to go bigger, higher, bigger frequency and be like, thank you, Creator, for this financial abundance I get to experience on a regular basis. Thank you for the health and healing I get to experience on a regular basis. Thank you for whole and happy children I get to have on a regular basis. Thank you for the experience of being a mother. Thank you for the experience of the type of work I get to do. Thank you for the career that I went into that I get to experience a lucrative outcome from, right? Thank you for the many, many travel adventures that I get to experience. It doesn't matter if they're in the past, the present, or the future. Thank you for the travel. So it's like a blanket thank you. It's like it should never be in a space to where I don't have enough, there's not enough, I'm begging for more, I didn't get enough, because that mindset will stop you from being on the right frequency of experiencing all the beauty and abundance that you want to have access to on a regular basis. And I apologize if I was on the soapbox with that one. Actually, I don't apologize. Sometimes you need to be on the soapbox. I've even gotten up and been thankful for the microphone, thankful for the headphones that I get to use when I walk, because it makes a walk feel like it's not really that much of a walk because, well, I got these audiobooks I'm listening to, I'm distracted, and yet I've still got my exercise on, right? Thank you for these slow and lazy Sundays where I can sit in my vehicle and record a video and there's nobody looking for me for anything because, my daughters aren't going to wake up until noon or something like that. You know, and thank you for that we live such a peaceful life that they just get to, you know, rise whenever they choose, and that the sun is pouring into the house and we have all those beautiful plants to greet us. Thank you for that cute little kitten that my daughter convinced me to get, that runs around the house and brings us so much joy. And I didn't even realize that having that little kitten in the house was just going to be such a joy to have. I mean, she just literally lights up our day every single day. Like, she runs from us and play these little hide and seek games. She's always hunting something that doesn't exist. She grabs her little toys and brings them to us like she killed a mouse or something. It's not even a real little mouse or insect. It's just a toy. You know, she's so vocal, and she didn't become vocal until about a month ago or whatever. And she's like only 7 months old, maybe 8 months at this point. And like, she walks around all day and she's like, ew, 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 ew. And it's like, what are you talking about? If somebody locks her out of a room because you don't want her, you know, climbing on a bed or whatever, sometimes I want peace, and I'm just like, no, she can't come in my room right now. And she'll stand outside the door and go, ew, ew, ew. And he's like, what are you talking about? If my daughter locks her out, she'll stand there. And I'm like, what happened? She locked you out. I open the door and she goes running in and go, ew, ew. And I'm like, oh, you know, thank you so much that, you know, I have a child that was dying to get that pet. The other one didn't like it very much. But now when I tell you she loves that little kitten, she was just like, a cat? I don't want that in the house. She loves that little kitten so much. I walk in sometimes, that little cat's laying in her bed and she's just like petting it while she's playing with her phone. And so just having gratitude, being on that frequency on a regular basis, you bring these experiences into your life that you didn't even realize was going to be a beautiful thing. So nonetheless, I think one of the biggest things that holds us back in life with the people and places and things I've experienced on a regular basis, even relationships I was in, to where people couldn't just focus on the gratitude in a relationship and they let something beautiful just go to dust because they were so focused on what they didn't get, what they're not getting, the scarcity of it, and what they're not experiencing, as opposed to how can I build on the beauty that's sitting right in front of me. And I get it. Everybody's not always in that space all the time, but you can look back some time and probably experience some real regret when it came to why couldn't I just be grateful in that space. And sometimes it's just a walk you have to have because of who you are and how much you've developed, and you're just not there yet. But other times, like, we can see this and we get this information. Where in my life am I not being grateful, and how is it going to bite me in the butt? Because I needed to be more grateful for what was there instead of constantly focusing on what's not there and then experiencing it negatively. One of those for me is body image. Is huge. It's like, girl, focus on being grateful for what is working in your body image as opposed to what you're always trying to get to. And so many people probably can resonate with that. Anyway, the sun is shifting and I still haven't gotten to walk in today. Today is a late day. I rarely go out after 10 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to just make sure I walk under the trees. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day and get some sunshine today. It's beautiful, and well, where I'm at, I don't know if it's beautiful where you are, but I'm sure you have some beautiful days popping up and you can get some sun in. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.